Welcome to the I'm Book podcast. I'm April O'Leary, and this is the YouTube version of our podcast. To get the audio version, you can hop on over to Spotify or anywhere that you consume audio podcasts. We are going to jump into some really cool content, so stay tuned for our next guest. We look forward to connecting with you, and be sure to subscribe. And to start your author adventure, hop on over to o'learypublishing.com, where you can map out the entire process and see what writing a book would look like for you. Let's get started.
Our book launch strategies that we have here at O'Leary Publishing, because it's one thing that authors often forget is that they're writing their book, they're excited about the content, they're really excited when we start getting into cover design and interior design, and they start seeing those 3D mock-ups of the book and what it's going to look like. They might even get the proof copy in their hand, and they think they did it. They've made it. They're at the end of the road. And the truth of the matter is, they're at the beginning of the road, the very beginning of the road. So I use an example often when I speak with authors about being pregnant and carrying a baby for 9 months in your belly is not the same as raising a child. And so writing a book and going through the process of like designing the cover is sort of like carrying that baby and designing the nursery, but your baby's not here yet. So you could still most likely sleep at night, and you don't have to feed it, and you don't have to change diapers yet. And with a book, once you birth your book into the world and it is launched, now the real work starts. And so that's why I want to share with you today about book launch strategies that I've used to successfully launch many of our authors to a #1 status, either in their category or on Amazon bestsellers, #1 new release. And there is some science behind it. So I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 things to do that are going to help you launch your book with success. And when you do these 3 things, you're going to find that the marketing hat, once you birth this book baby, isn't as hard as you may have thought. But it's not a matter of if you read it, they will come. If you write it, they will come. Absolutely no. You know what? You've read books before, I'm sure, that you never told anybody about. You read it, you put it back on the shelf. And so part of marketing and launching a book is #1, we need to get word of mouth traction from our readers. But we also, as writers, need to know that sometimes we have to take off that creative hat and put on that sales and marketing hat, because now, just like any business that has a product, you have created a product of which you are the #1 sales representative for. And so when you're marketing a product, the first thing I want to say to you is you don't lead with the product. I've seen authors do this mistakenly so many times, and it's really a distasteful way to market your book is, here's my book, buy my book. Who wants to buy my book? Here's the next book in my series, buy my book. It doesn't work. Because why? It's all about you and your book. Nobody cares about you and your book. I hate to break it to you. They care about how they're going to be entertained, how they're going to be educated, what they're going to get if they're willing to give up some time and some money to read your book. What are they going to get out of it for themselves? So I want you to think about, even as you're writing your book, what are all the benefits that my potential reader will get? And backing up a little bit further, who is my reader? You have to really know who your reader is and what they want so that you can give them what they want. If you're writing to moms, there's a certain way that you're going to write to connect with them that's different than if you're going to write to pro athletes. So the examples you use will be different. The way you talk will be different. The points you bring out will be different. And the way you structure your marketing language is going to be different. So first of all, always keep your reader in mind when you're writing. And that's kind of a book launch tip, because this will help you in knowing how to launch your book, because you're going to know where that specific audience is and where to find them. Secondly, one of the strategies we've used very successfully, and this is for authors who are brand new and they don't have an audience yet. This might be your first book, or you might not have a website, or maybe we've built a website for you. We do that for a lot of our authors, and I highly recommend that if you have a book, you have to have a place for your readers to go where you can interact with them and capture their information, especially if you plan on writing more books, because your first book launch is going to be the most time intensive. All of them are going to be time intensive, don't be fooled. But the first one, while you're trying to gather all of those chickens, all of those cats, and herd them in to get them to know who you are and your name. And I'm not calling your readers chickens, by the way. I'm just saying it's difficult to wrangle together a bunch of people who all have busy lives and their own minds and their own things they're thinking about and doing. How do you get those people to pay attention to you enough so that they buy your book, read it, and stick around? So without a website, it's pretty difficult. You're going to have to go chase those chickens again once your second book comes out. So really think about this when you're launching your first book. You're gathering everyone together, but have that website ready so that you can capture their information, offer something away of value. So just last week, we launched a book called Pray Attention, 5 Sacred Meditations with Audio. I'm going to show you, I have it right here. And for those of you who are watching by video, you'll see that if you're listening on a podcast, you won't be able to see the book. But if you see this up on YouTube, obviously you can see the cover here. It's by Diane Scribner Clevenger. And it's a book that combines meditations, the transcriptions of meditations that are written out and designed very beautifully, with audio files that expertly guide you with Diane's voice and some music through those meditations. Now, it was a perfect match made in heaven on this book to deliver the audio files in a downloadable format through her website. So the reader buys the book, they look, and inside on one of the first pages, it says, "Before you start." And it gives them download the digital audio tracks, and it gives them a website to go to get those digital audio tracks. Now, that provides additional value to the reader, but it also provides additional value to her as the author. Why? Because now she has connected with that reader, and anything subsequent that she's going to do, she can reach out to those people who have already downloaded the audio. And they won't be surprised because they already enjoyed her audio. They already bought her book. They already know who she is. And so it's an easy second sale, whether she wants to do workshops, launch a new book, do an online course, do a Facebook Live. It doesn't matter what the next step is, but she's created a way to start building her community. Now, she already had a website, and she already has her Pray Attention Ministries, which is her Unity Church Without Walls. So she had somewhat of an audience. But the third thing that we were able to do, in addition to her having a website, and if you're an author who's coming out with your first book and you don't have a website, I highly recommend you get one and do something similar to that. It can be anything. Just to backtrack, we had another book called Letters of Forgiveness, and I'm going to show you that right now. So Letters of Forgiveness is a novel, and Kathy Schaefer was a first-time author, so we built a website for her, kathyschaefer.com. That's SCHAFFER.com. And we gave the prologue away for free. So for people who don't know who she is, don't know if they're going to like how she writes, don't know if they'll connect with the story, we say go to kathyschaefer.com and download the prologue for free. And then behind that free download, we have an autoresponder series that says, hey, just a reminder, did you read the prologue yet? How did you like it? Hit reply, tell me what you thought. And then that goes to her, gives her a chance to connect with her readers. Additionally, it gives them a chance to buy an autographed copy from her through her website. So Kathy, as an author, decided to purchase some of her own books, and she makes more money by selling them on her own website. And so she has an autographed copy where she can sell personalized copies to her readers. And so that's a great way to not only make an additional income, but to connect with your readers again. And if you hear me saying the word connect a lot, that's because that's what authoring is all about. It's not about you sitting behind your computer alone and then you pushing your book out into the world and some fictitious strangers reading it alone in their house. To be a successful author, you need to connect yourself with your readers, plugged in together, And then the magic can really happen because the readers will know there's a person behind this writing. So for Kathy, another way that we were able to create an income opportunity for her as an author is to have a book club offering. So on her website, when potential readers get there, they may download her prologue, and that may lead to hopefully a sale, whether they purchase through Amazon or an autographed copy through her website. Either's fine. But her book is really conducive for book clubs where people like to discuss. And so in the back of her book, we created some book club discussion questions. And on her website, we created book club discussion leading for her to join in either via Zoom, or if you're in Southwest Florida, she can attend live. And so everyone in that book club can chip in some money and they can connect with the author. Isn't that cool? So you could actually have this potential real life experience with an author of a book that you are reading. And to me, that's invaluable. It's priceless. How many of us have been in book clubs where we discussed books and we wish we could have gotten into the mind of that author, but the author's not available. So make yourself available to your readers. That's number 2. So number 1 is understand your readers and what they want and use the marketing and the message to target those readers. Number 2 is have a website and offer something of value and integrate that into your book offering. Number 3, and this is really exciting. I should say exciting because that's what it is. It takes a lot of work, takes a little bit of technology skills, but it is absolutely doable. And it's something that we have successfully done for many of our authors now, launching them into #1 positionings on their book launch day or weeks. So what this involves is using Facebook as your tool for book launching. Now, number 1, when you get onto Facebook, which I assume you have a Facebook, if you don't, please get a Facebook because that's where you're going to connect with the most of your readers. I know that there are some authors that are like, I want to be private. I don't want to get on there. I don't want to reconnect with old people and all of that. Set it aside, set that thinking aside and say, I need to be on Facebook for my business. I don't have to post anything personal that I don't want to post. And it's a tool for me to market. So think about Facebook being a tool for you to connect with people outside of your normal sphere of influence. So once you're on Facebook, you're going to create a group. Now, if you have a Facebook page, you can create it as a subgroup of your page. If you just have a personal profile, that's fine. You can create a group. Now you're going to name it the title of your book. So for example, we had Letters of Forgiveness, VIP book launch group, or we had Pray Attention, VIP book launch group. So you're going to create the group. You're going to create a nice header. I like to use the program called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, and you can create a lot of free graphics on there. You're going to use your book cover. You're going to put the title of your group, and that's going to be sort of like your house. So if you think of it this way, if you have a book signing in person, you've got a date, you've got a time, you've got a location, you're inviting people to come. And then when they come, they show up, everyone buys the book on that evening and you sign it, right? It makes sense in person. This is taking that concept and putting it into the digital format of a book launch party. So think of Facebook as being your home. Your Facebook group is the home or the location of your book launch party. Now, once that's established and you have it looking all nice, you've got a group description, you've got a nice header image, you're going to think about, how am I going to invite people to my book launch group? So this is where the real magic happens. You have to start reaching out to the people you know on Facebook and say, I'm so excited. I'm launching my first book. It's called Pray Attention. I have a special group here. We're getting together live every day, or we're posting motivational stuff every day, or I'm sharing snippets of the book every day. What are you going to do to educate and entertain your fans, your friends, your family until the date of the book launch? So if I invited you over to my house, and let's say that the party starts at 4 o'clock, but we know that dinner's not going to be served until 6 o'clock. And so people are going to start coming in between 4 and 6. The people that arrive at 4, I don't just ignore them, right? I may have appetizers out on the bar. I might have some drinks to offer. I might have some games to play. I would be a gracious host. And so this is what you do while you're in this holding pattern. So you're doing two things. You're inviting people in and you're entertaining the people who are already there and asking them to invite their friends. Keep it focused on providing entertainment, providing education, thanking people for being here, giving them some content that the public isn't getting, that they're going to get special because they're in your group. And then the countdown begins. And so every day as the book launch gets closer, people are getting excited. They're inviting more people in. You're engaging them, you're entertaining them, but realize that it's your group. You are ultimately responsible to get your people there. And so this group only works if you're really willing to invite people through text messages, Facebook messages, emails, carrier pigeon, I don't care, email, all of your contacts that you've ever emailed. Because the thing is, in sales and marketing, all we're doing is making an invitation. The reader, potential fan has the right to say yes or no. So we're not going to get too hung up on who says yes, who says no, who engages, who doesn't. Doesn't matter. We're just extending the invitation because we care about people and we want them to know that we're doing something exciting, just in the way that if they were doing something exciting, we would want them to tell us about it, or we might feel bad if they didn't tell us about it. So once you have all of these people sort of mingling around, sharing, entertaining, you're providing value, the book launch day happens, and then it's like, boom, everybody, today is the day the book is launching, go purchase your copies. So everybody goes over to Amazon, most likely, and purchases their book on that day. And this will boost your book up. It'll boost it up in the ratings, and you will likely, hopefully, see that you will get that coveted orange stripe on your book saying that you were a #1 new release or you were #1 category bestseller for the day. And that is a credential that you can then use in your biography. It's a credential you can screenshot it, save it on your website. And it's very exciting, and then make sure that after the book launch day that you thank everybody for participating. And then you have this group and you can rename the group, you can keep inviting people, you can keep things going. And then that's up to you to figure out how your community wants to engage. But those are some ways to really launch your book with success. Those are some ways to start building an audience if you're a first-time author. Those are some ways to start connecting, selling, and building that audience so that if you write your second book and your third book or your fourth book, pretty soon you have this built-in audience who's eager to read what you've written. So don't just think about the writing process. That's the point I'm making to you today. Think about, how am I going to sell this product that I've spent my time, my money, my effort to make? How am I going to sell this product that I'm now responsible to sell? It's not about writing another book. I know authors that get stuck in that loop that, oh, this one didn't sell so well, so I'm going to throw it to the side. I'm going to write the next book. You can write 10 books, and if you don't market any of them well, none of them will sell well. You can use one book, market it really well, sell it, and spin off other income opportunities and other offerings for your audience, depending on what they want. So there's so much you can do with a book. Don't limit yourself by thinking that it's only about writing and publishing. Don't forget, launching is a big part of publishing success, and it's a big part of your success as an author. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of I'm Booked. I'm April O'Leary, and to download the Influencer's Path to Successful Publishing, you may do so at www.o'learypublishing.com. Have an amazing day, and thanks for being a part of us here at I'm Booked. Bye now.
So this has been another episode of the I'm Booked podcast. I'm April O'Leary signing off. Be sure to hop on over to o'learypublishing.com to start your author adventure and see what writing a book could do for you in your profession, in your career, and what doors it might open. We thank our guests for being a part of the show today, and be sure to subscribe to podcasts here on YouTube. We look forward to serving you and helping you get your book out into the world.